Hey guys, Hello Bella here. In this video, I'm going to talk about 25 tax deductions for you at the end of the year when you are running a business. So if you are self-employed like me and you do any kind of business, you probably understand that there are constantly things that we have to purchase and pay for. So the point of this video is to help you squeeze out every dollar that you can out of your taxes. And I will just say that this is very informal. I'm not an accountant. Obviously, I'm in a robe right now, so I'm not super professional, but I am a small business owner, and I think that it's really important to try and figure out everything you can do to save money in your business, because sometimes it's easier to keep the money than you have than to try and make more money. So let's just go over what can be a tax deduction in your business. This may be targeted more towards people who are in the reselling, online selling business, but let's just go through this. So it has to be ordinary, necessary, reasonable, and you have to have proof of your purchase. So ordinary would be like it's something pretty normal for your business. You can't go out and buy a horse if you're not a farmer. You get the point. You can't, go on a private jet when you're only making $50,000 a year. So it has to be ordinary and it has to be necessary. So it has to be something that you could reasonably defend. Why did you buy this and why did you need this to make money, or how did this help you in your business? Reasonable, like I said, with the private jet, can't be something that is just outlandish. You can't be putting trips to the strip club with all your friends on here. It has to be something that is reasonable. So, and also make sure that you have proof of purchase through receipt or basically some kind of bank statement printed out that you could show. So we're going to talk about a few things, but I just want you guys to keep in mind that if you're not tracking your mileage, you're probably losing thousands of dollars a year. I did this and I will never make this mistake again. So the standard deduction in 2019 for mileage is, I think, going to be 58 cents per mile. So that is really, really like pretty good. It really adds up, especially if you're driving like an older car, because I drive sometimes to Nashville just to go up and buy books so I can write off all of that. So pretty much by the time I have my mileage deducted, I don't have to pay anything on the profits. Advice from my accountant, she said, this makes a lot of sense. She said, don't spend a dollar to save 30 cents. And what she means by that is that our taxable income is going to be around 30 cents per dollar on our profit. So don't buy things that you don't need just because you don't want to pay the government the taxes on it. I don't know how I feel about this completely, but I think that she's just trying to save you from buying stupid stuff that doesn't make any sense for your business. And lastly, meals are 50% deductible. So if you take a client out, you take a fellow friend out and you talk about business, make sure you save the receipt because you can definitely deduct half of that. And I'm just going to say, if you don't mind, use Amazon Smile. If you're going to buy stuff off of Amazon for the end of the year, you can give money to a charity just by using that. You don't have to do anything. You just pick your charity. Right now, I'm supporting my local homeless shelter. It's called Room in the Inn, and they will get a little bit of money each time that I buy something. So let's just go through this. Some of these you're going to be like, duh, but some of these you might be like, oh, I didn't think about that. And the whole point of this is to minimize your tax liability. So if you know that you made a lot of profit this year and you know you're going to have to pay taxes, it makes sense for you to buy some of this stuff. That way you can basically make a little bit of your money back. So the first thing is packing tape. Pretty obvious, but I'll probably buy like probably close to maybe probably about 4, 6 counts of those boxes, different size boxes, mailers. So you can buy those cool poly bags with the designs on them, especially if you sell on eBay. I always like buying those. Bubble wrap, phone chargers. You can also buy portable chargers. So like those bricks, the Jackery is pretty cool, and there are some that are solar powered, and there are some wireless chargers. So you can write off all of that. Phone mounts, lots of phone accessories. You're getting the point with this, but most of us work from our phones now, so it's reasonable for us to have those. Headphones, you could get you a nice pair of headphones at the end of the year. You could get Bluetooth headphones, or just some noise canceling headphones. Educational books or courses. This is something that I didn't really realize was a tax write-off, but any kind of business book, a planner, a reference book, and educational courses like Skillshare or I can't remember all of them. I think Udemy is one. So yeah, if you take a class on there or you're trying to learn something, this might be a good idea to do that. And keep in mind, just because you purchase something at the end of the year doesn't mean you have to finish the class. It just means you have that initial purchase at the end of the year for the 2019 tax year. Same goes with all of this stuff. We're not assuming that we're using it in 2019. We're just purchasing it in 2019. Printer ink, that is a big one because you probably have a vague idea of how much ink that you use each year. So maybe it makes sense to spend $50 or $100 for you at the end of this year on printer ink. I don't know how many things I said I had in the beginning, but I have 26 altogether, it looks like. Um, so paper, obviously, that's something that we all need. Pens, markers, highlighters. I don't know about you guys, but I use all that stuff pretty often. Office furniture, maybe you want to get a new chair or desk or filing cabinet or some shelves. I believe you can also write off a reasonable amount of office decor. So like any kind of stuff that you want to hang up in your office or lamps, things of that nature. I think this is a good one because it's something that is obvious, and I think it's not something that we would normally think about buying because we're not in the mode where we want to like improve little things. But I definitely could use a new office chair. My office chair is like getting ratchet. I think that it's like one of those that I got this at Sam's Club probably like, oh gosh, probably 8 years ago. So that's just an example of something, and it also would be a larger ticket item that you wouldn't have to worry about really defending because it's pretty obvious. This is software subscriptions, so I think that this is pretty self-explanatory, but like apps that you have to pay for, MyIQ, PicMonkey, these actually will let you pay by the year. So if you've been paying by the month all year and you need a tax deduction, you could just pay for next year this year. So basically, either November or December, you can go ahead and sign up for a year's worth, and they'll just charge you for the whole year. The only downside to that, of course, is that you don't get that deduction next year. But yeah. Barcode scanner. I think I have one of these laying around somewhere, but that is useful for us resellers. Labels, stamps, prepaid postage. Now, I don't really know how much stamps you guys use. I used a lot of stamps as a real estate agent, but I'm not using as much now. But prepaid postage could be something that you could purchase. You could even, get a prepaid account on like stamps.com or something and add like a couple $100s to it if you know you're going to be spending that next year. Professional branding and logos, so anything that represents you. Like for me personally, I have my YouTube channel, and then some people have a logo for their brand, some people have a logo for their business card. So just kind of think outside the box. If you've really been wanting to get something like this done, it's a good time of the year to do it, and you can really kind of maximize that as a deduction. So events and conferences, this is what I think of when I think of going to meetups, local meetups. Keep in mind that you can expense your travel to the conference and your hotel to the conference. So just really, really think about stuff like that. I don't know really how many opportunities there are at the end of the year for this, but throughout the year, this is a good one to keep in mind. Networking and lunches. I said before about the meals that you can deduct the meals, but networking lunches, you could ask someone to go eat with you for, to catch up and for the holidays, and it can definitely count as a business expense. Coaching, consulting services. So this is stuff like going to a business coach or a life coach or someone that's going to help you, and you have to pay them. So I have never personally done this, but I know a lot of people do it. So there's definitely some opportunity there if that's something that you want to spend a little extra money on this year. Camera, that is just one that came out of the top of my head. I just bought a new iPhone, so that was a big expense for me. You could add phone to the list, and that would definitely be a pretty substantial expense if you're getting an iPhone. Travel expenses, sourcing trips. So if you go to another state or even another area to source, you can source you know, 2 hours away, and then you can deduct everything like your hotel, your meals, and your mileage. So just keep in mind for that. Like, I may go on some sourcing trips for the next 2 months since it's November, December, and think about it. I have purchased all of that inventory and I will get to write off going to get it in the hotel, but I won't have really sold it. So it's really beneficial for this tax year, actually, now that I think about it. Um, all right, so advertising. This is depending on your business, but it's a good time, fourth quarter, holidays, to run ads. So you can use Facebook, Pinterest, AMS ads, that's Amazon, and you can do local ads. Like if you are looking for things to purchase, you can put an ad out in your paper, like I buy books or whatever. I've done that before. Woo, I got a lot of calls from that. I don't know if that was a good idea or not. A lot of old people read the paper, so that was mostly who all the calls came from. Okay, so retirement account contributions. This one is one I actually learned this year. Now that I'm 25 and self-employed and you know, starting to worry about things like health insurance and retirement, I've been looking into the different retirement accounts that would be the most beneficial. And I think that 401k, solo 401k, or a Roth IRA would both be types of accounts that I could use to have a tax-free contribution, but I need to set that up. But yeah, look into that because there are certain ones that you can contribute. I think some of them are up to like $18,000 a year that you can contribute tax-free. So really good idea to do that. And we should really all probably be looking into some kind of form of retirement, especially if you are a reseller, because you know you don't want to do this forever. Um, Lastly, legal and professional services. So I don't know about you guys, but I use a professional accountant, which is why I have learned a lot of this stuff. But her fees are definitely not, you know, super cheap. It's a couple $100s a year, and I think that that is really worth it. But that's tax deductible each time that you pay that, as well as lawyers. If you are drawing up documents or you know, anything like that, just keep in mind if it's business related that you can write it off. So yeah, hopefully the video was helpful. I really think that it's important to educate yourself on these matters. You don't have to be like a tax genius or anything, but I noticed that a lot of my friends who own small businesses just don't grasp the concept that they are losing money by not figuring this stuff out sooner rather than later. I see a lot of them who are not keeping proper records of their expenses. You know, they kind of laugh at me and giggle when I stick all of my receipts in my purse whenever we go do stuff. But I think that it's a habit that you have to get into, and you have to get into the mindset of how can I make this a business deduction. Anything that I buy, like if I'm going to Walmart to buy my groceries and I buy something that can be considered a business deduction, I make sure that I get two separate receipts and I check out separately for the business items. So that is another thing that you can do. That's just a little bit of it's probably not really necessary, but I think it's good to separate things like that because you don't want to show that you're mixing your personal life with your business too much. But I really appreciate you guys watching. I have a feeling that you guys probably know about other tax deductions, so if you do, leave them in the comments below and we can all benefit from this knowledge. If you want to learn more about selling on Amazon or merch by Amazon or all the things that I've done, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I put a lot of effort into making educational videos that don't have a lot of fluff, and I really would appreciate it if you subscribe and hit the thumbs up button. Thanks so much, guys.